Show me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here, and I love a good crossover. I love when my favorite things just all jumble up together and I get to experience all of my favorite things in one. I love Star Wars, I love wrestling, I love martial arts movies, I love comic books, video games, a bunch of things. But whenever one thing flows into the other and we get a little bit of intermingling, it's just always a fun time. Like Donnie Yen as Chirrut Imwe in Star Wars, I was just so excited to see my martial arts in my Star Wars. Like I was excited when, the guys from the raid popped up in The Force Awakens and then did absolutely nothing. That was my excitement being stomped on by J.J. Abrams. But one crossover that is usually always some kind of fun in some kind of way is whenever wrestling crosses over into martial arts cinema. The two are very similar. It's both choreographed, theatricalized fighting. It's all the exact same thing. So many similarities that if you like one, you're probably going to like the other. So whenever I do see a professional wrestler in a martial arts movie, I'm usually pretty pumped. So that's what we're doing here today. We're taking a look at 5 pro wrestlers who crossed over into martial arts cinema. How fitting I'm wearing an Adam Cole shirt today. I didn't even do that on purpose. So here we go. Let's get into it. Here are 5 professional wrestlers in martial arts movies. Number 5, Rob Van Dam. Starting it off with the one-of-a-kind Mr. Monday Night, Mr. ECW, in my opinion. When I think ECW, I think Rob Van Dam. I know you got Sandman, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, Taz, a whole bunch of other people, but I think of Rob Van Dam. Sorry, let me do that again. Gotta do it right. Rob Van Dam. Yeah, big nerd over here. Rob Van Dam is the whole effing show, and for many people, for an entire generation, one of the most exciting professional wrestlers to ever do it. His time in ECW, his time on Monday Night Raw, his very short time as the WWE Champion, before, he had to go and ruin that for himself, he was simply one of the most entertaining people to see in the ring. Watching a match from him was pretty much already like watching a martial arts movie. Because Rob Van Dam had a background in kickboxing, he was very entertaining with his kicks, with his martial arts. He brought that over into his wrestling style. I believe he had a few amateur fighting bouts, but he was a professional wrestler, really. And he would do all these crazy kicks, the Van Daminator, the Van Terminator, just amazing spinning back kicks. He was called Rob Van Dam. He fought like Van Dam. So, of course, it only makes sense for him to have some kind of crossover into martial arts cinema, a thing he did 2 or 3 times. I say 3 because I feel like I saw a clip of him in, Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies, a movie that exists that stars, Kurt Angle and, Roddy Piper and Matt Hardy and some other people that is not worth talking about. But he does have a small role in the sequel to Black Mask, Black Mask 2, subtitle I don't know, because I don't want to know it, because that movie is it's a horrible movie. It's not good at all. I don't even remember Rob Van Dam's fight in it, if he had a fight. I just know he's in it. But I do know the fight he has in the very low-budget 90s film starring Gary Daniels and Darren Shahlavi, Blood Moon. A fight between Darren Shahlavi and Rob Van Dam sounds very fitting, sounds like it should work, and it's pretty fun. I've seen the fight. I've still got to get around to watching the movie. I'm going to watch it soon, but it's a pretty fun fight. It's about as 90s as you could think. Darren Shahlavi is doing his Darren Shahlavi thing, which is always good, and Rob Van Dam gets a couple, wrestling moves in there. He lands a pretty good drop kick. I don't think he really gets to do any of his, spinning kicks that he was famous for, but he gets to do like a master lock, full Nelson kind of thing. Throws in some professional wrestling moves in there that it's just always entertaining to see your favorite professional wrestler bust out some professional wrestling moves in a movie fight scene. If only he could have busted out a rolling thunder, we all could have had a good day. Number 4, Eve Torres. Eve Torres was the 2007 Diva Search winner. If you don't know what that is, congratulations. It was a dark period in professional wrestling, a dark period in women's wrestling, where WWE was mostly hiring models who didn't actually know how to wrestle, and, making them the champion and putting the whole show just focused around them. wasn't a good time. If you wanted to watch women's wrestling back then, you pretty much had to watch TNA, where they were actually wrestling. But hey, you know what? She was a champion. She won like a best dress contest to be like number one contender, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm pretty sure that's actually what happened. Look it up. And she became the Diva champion, the Divas champion. And if you think I don't sound very excited about that, it's because this was the belt they used for the Divas back then. They called them Divas. They weren't women. They were Divas. And their belt was a butterfly. And everyone hated it, and it was a really bad, 10 years. They did that for almost 10 years. It was horrible. We live in such a better time now. It was a really weird time for women's wrestling. I say weird, I mean terrible. But Eve Torres has since moved past that. She is now like a fitness person and stunt woman. Good for her for, finding her career trajectory based off just some terrible stuff going on in the professional wrestling world. And she has starred in a few movies, but the one that I want to talk about today is a fun little fight she had with Jackie Chan. The honor she had to fight Jackie Chan in just a wonderful Academy Award-winning film we all know called Skip Trace. Skip Trace is, of course, the Johnny Knoxville, Jackie Chan starring vehicle in which the two pretty much do Rush Hour, but differently. It's pretty much that. I promise you don't really have to watch it if you've seen Rush Hour, but it's got some fun moments, especially the fight between Eve Torres and Jackie Chan. She gets to do some stuff. She gets to look really exciting, look really formidable, really kind of handing Jackie's ass to him a little bit, and then he hits her in the boobs, and they both make a comment about her having size double D breasts, because that's what was going on. There's a fun little moment with some Russian nesting dolls thingies. Is that what they're called? But it's not really amazing. It's not great. But it's not her fault. It's kind of the movie. It's a movie where the best scene, that stars Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville, is a scene in which Jackie Chan sings Adele. It's a great scene. I love that scene. Number 3, Nathan Jones. This one's weird because at this point Nathan Jones has really crafted himself a really nice cushiony career as this, I want to say actor. He is an actor. He really is. He does have some acting parts. He's kind of a stunt man, a big, scary, bad guy to be in a lot of movies. Whenever they need someone big, they kind of go with Nathan Jones, like in Mortal Kombat. But people may not even realize that he used to be a professional wrestler. He didn't do it very long. He only wrestled for a handful of years. He wrestled in the early 2000s, I think in the WWA. He was their champion. Somewhere else called Gravity Zero, One Max, something like that, wrestling. Before, in 2003, he was called up by WWE to be big. He was on this team of guys with Brock Lesnar where their whole thing was just that they were all large. And then he was supposed to do a tag team match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, but for some reason they pulled him out, probably because he wasn't very good at the wrestling. So he was just kind of relegated to one move at the end of the match where he came out almost by the tail end of it. And then he just kind of decided he was done. He didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't like it. So he just went home. But sort of towards that tail end where he was wrestling still, he did do one appearance in the movie Troy. Of course, that famous scene we all know where Brad Pitt kind of strikes him down with one move to show how badass he is. And that really sparked something in him. He realized that he really wanted to get into films. So his next film, of course, was the one we all think of when we think of Nathan Jones in martial arts movies, and that is The Protector. He's the big guy fighting Tony Jaa twice in that, taking one of my favorite bumps in any martial arts movie, where he takes the knees to the face and drops to his back. That is fantastic.
Yes! That's awesome!
And he's done plenty of movies since then. He, of course, had a fairly large role in Fury Road. He is in the Mortal Kombat movie, as I said. But even before that, he was back in 98, before he was even wrestling, and probably even before he was a Pride Fighter. He was a Pride Fighter for a little bit. I think he just lost a lot. He was in Jackie Chan's Who Am I? Probably just because he's Australian and that movie shot in Australia. So, easy gig. But no, that's not actually what I want to talk about. Not Who Am I and not The Protector, despite how good he is in The Protector as just a large man. No, I want to talk about him in Fearless. I love his scene in Fearless. Of course, the most famous scene, probably most recognizable scene in the Jet Li film Fearless, is his fight with Nathan Jones. In Fearless, Jet Li is playing Hua Wanja, a real-life kung fu master who had a real life, well, maybe did, maybe didn't, there are conflicting reports, with an Irish boxer named Hercules O'Brien. So, in this one, in this biopic, you could say, Nathan Jones is playing a real guy. And it's a very nice fight. It's a very good David and Goliath style thing. The two have extremely awesome chemistry. They get to do some good stuff. Jet Li is, of course, always amazing. It is his swan song to kung fu cinema, and who better to play off than a giant like Nathan Jones? And by the end, he gains his respect, saves his life, almost impales his face on on a nail or something like that. But it's a good fight scene. I love it a lot. It's just a good movie. Number 2, Bill Goldberg. Now, I must admit, as a pro wrestling fan, I am not the biggest fan of Goldberg. I see it, I get the appeal, I fully understand it, but I wasn't watching wrestling in the late 90s. I was only like 3 years old in 1999, so I wasn't there yet. I definitely wasn't watching WCW. I wasn't paying attention to his whole undefeated streak. I get it. I've caught up with a lot of that stuff as an adult now, and I get it. He's big. He would beat people real fast. Remember that time William Regal just actually had made him wrestle? And he got in trouble for it because Bill Goldberg, couldn't wrestle. I think that's cool. I'm into that stuff. But, I mean, in the couple recent years, he's done some stuff with, Brock Lesnar and had that fun little, 10-second match. Then they had, a 5-minute match at, WrestleMania or something. So, I get it. I get the appeal. Big men doing big men stuff, being all sweaty, slapping big man meat. I get it. It's fun. It's professional wrestling. But in the late 90s, at the height of the Attitude Era, at the height of Bill Goldberg's powers in WCW, he appeared in a little-known film with little-known Jean-Claude Van Damme called Universal Soldier: The Return. This is straight-up 90s action cinema. It is posing and doing few moves and quipping and just one-liner dialogue at its most disgusting. It's not bad. It's just a lot, and it's very heavy-handed. And, of course, Bill Goldberg gets to hit some wrestling moves. I'm pretty sure he hits a suplex somewhere in there. He gets to do his signature spear to a couple people, and he makes it look devastating just like he did in professional wrestling. And, I don't know, he does a knee, a backbreaker on his knee. It's Goldberg. He's going to hit the 5 moves he knows how to do. He's going to say something to sound cool, and he's going to leave. What do you want me to say? It's Goldberg. There's some Goldberg fans right now that are pissed.
Saved by the bell, Devereaux.
Well, I just love me some WCW. And number 1, Dave Batista. This is my generation of stuff. This is my childhood right here. This is the pinnacle of big man, big top champion professional wrestling. He was the world heavyweight champion for a lot of my childhood in WWE. Him, John Cena, and Bobby Lashley over in ECW, if you want to count that. That was the trifecta of if these dudes clashed, the world was going to end. He was just excitement and hype. He had the best moveset. The Batista bomb was always amazing. His spine buster was powerful. He would come out and his pyro would go off and he was acting like he was firing machine guns, and then he would start beating his chest and boom, he would have the huge explosion. And at that point I'm 9 years old and I'm it's going down. And then he left wrestling to pursue acting, in which I can't blame him. He's doing a great job, and he's maybe putting in the best work of any professional wrestler turned actor in the modern era. I say the modern era because, I don't know, do you want to count Hulk Hogan? I don't. He is most known for Drax the Destroyer, of course, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's got a few other good movies, amazing performances in films like Blade Runner 2047? I don't remember what the name of that movie was. And then, of course, he's got this movie with M. Night Shyamalan coming out that looks quite good. I loved him in... what is the movie freaking called now? I'm blanking so hard. Hotel Artemis, very good. But he has appeared in martial arts cinema twice, actually. His first go-round, 3 times. His first go-round was with the RZA, who wrote and directed a film called The Man with the Iron Fists, in which he played one of the bad guys in that, although you'd have to really think about that, because he's like a good guy at first, and then he's a bad guy, and then something else happens. I don't know. That's not a good movie. I don't recommend it, although I do like his character. It's pretty cool stuff. But he's also in another Van Damme movie. He is the bad guy. He is, I believe it's Tong Po in the Kickboxer. Is it not? It's not Tong Po. No, it's not, because it's a totally different guy. He is it the same? No, it's not. I'm freaking out. I can't remember. I watched all those Kickboxer movies, and I can't remember at all. He's in Kickboxer Vengeance. He's the bad guy in that. That movie's not good. He's okay in it. He does what he needs to do. But what I want to talk about here is his fight with Iko Uwais in Stuber. No, I'm just kidding. I like it, though. No, he is the bad guy in the wonderful film, the wonderful spin-off of the Ip Man series, Master Z, Ip Man Legacy. This is maybe the most entertaining professional wrestler in a martial arts movie I think you can get, because the thing about Dave Batista's acting career is he has said he just simply wants to work with the very best he can. The best actors, the best directors, the best storytellers. And if he wants to work with the best directors, he knew that if he was going to do a kung fu movie, a martial arts movie, he had to work with Yuan Wu Ping. And nobody knows how to choreograph to strength better than Yuan Wu Ping. Well, Tim Man, arguably, is good for that too. But yes, Yuan Wu Ping knew exactly how to choreograph a huge guy like Dave Batista, who is also extremely athletic, extremely fast, and powerful, in a great fight scene with Max Zhang. Another wonderful David versus Goliath, one where Max Zhang has not really done Wing Chun through most of the movie, and at the end he realizes he needs to do Wing Chun if he wants to defeat Dave Batista, because Dave Batista is tossing him around, beating the crap out of him, wonderful counters, wonderful handwork, until finally he starts using Wing Chun, and he has to go for everything he can, and Dave Batista at one point even goes for a Batista Bomb. His finishing move in WWE was amazing. It was always freaking explosive. And he even hit it on Jing Yu earlier in the film. Seeing Dave Batista fight Jing Yu, that's just my nerd brain going nuts. What did I say earlier about seeing my favorite things cross over? I freaking love Jing Yu. I freaking love professional wrestling, and I love Dave Batista. And just being like, this dude from your childhood who was the biggest champion in the world is gonna also fight this dude from a kung fu movie you love. That's freaking stupid, and I love it. Dave Batista fought Jing Yu and murdered his ass. Can you tell that I originally wrote a script for this video and I was like, I'm just talking about wrestling and kung fu movies. I don't need a script for this. At one point in their wonderful final fight, Dave Batista goes for his power bomb, his Batista bomb. Really, it was kind of more like Kevin Nash's power bomb move, because he didn't actually sit out with it. But anyway, he goes for a Batista bomb pretty much, and frickin' Max Zhang counters the move with a Frankensteiner or a Hurricane Rana, whichever one of those avenues you want to go down as a professional wrestling fan. It's just great. It's professional wrestling, it's kung fu cinema, things that are already so closely related, perfectly blending into the perfect just ball of awesomeness.
詠春張天志。
It's fun. I feel like you can always guess people's age based on, who was their childhood champion, who was the biggest world champion when you were a kid. You can always guess age off of that. So tell me, who was your childhood champion? Was it The Rock? Was it John Cena? Was it I don't know, Goldberg or Hulk Hogan or Sting or Kevin Nash or Shawn Michaels or Macho Man Randy Savage? Oh, it's going to be the Macho Man. But tell me your favorite professional wrestler in martial arts cinema. Who has your favorite fight scene from all these professional wrestlers in martial arts movies? Because Dave Batista's is just really, really good. Tell me that in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook. There is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan_Glover on the Twitter. And Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.